Hello there, this is Derek Mithog, and this is Voltaire Cycles Shopify Tutorial 301. And today we're going to talk about creating your core group of policies regarding your online and in your store as well. These are the policy group for returns, for terms of service, for privacy, and for shipping. So let's get to it. So in this tutorial, we're going to review quickly what we did in the previous tutorial, which is creating a web page and why a web page is different than a product page. And we covered how to insert a picture and how to add that page to the navigation. In this video, we're going to talk specifically about the 4 legal pages, which should be on every website, and most good e-commerce websites have them. But these are pages that will also be available to customers that purchase from your POS or point of sale within the shop. And they should also be the same terms of service and returns and shipping and privacy that you have in your shop. So you don't want 2 different policies, obviously. We have drafted policies which are templates. You can have your legal advisor or attorney review them. If you would prefer to use something different, that's absolutely within your rights. We make this suggestion, but at a minimum, you should have at least something similar to these policies, and we're going to go over each one of them. And then we will add them to your site, and we will finally nest them in your navigation menu so that they appear under the About Us link. And that's it. So getting right to it, on your Shopify login, when you log in, you come to your home screen, and this is the admin. And if you recall, your name should be up here in the right-hand corner. Over on the left, we have the navigation menu. And then specifically, you have, if you click on the online store, you can see a quick picture of your home page as it's operating right now, currently. And if you want to make any edits to the navigation of that up here, or add any new pages, web pages, which are different than product pages, then you would enter your page link here and then come to your menu of pages. Now, on your menu of pages, we've already uploaded a great deal of them to get you going, but the 4 specific ones related to legal terms of your service are down towards the bottom. Terms of service, shipping policy, return policy, and privacy policy. You'll notice that there's no copy in any of, there's no text on any of these pages. The pages have been created, but there's no copy for them. And the reason for that is we've shared with you a folder on G Drive, and it should look exactly like this. And these are the policy sheets, each one uniquely created for Voltaire Cycles. Importantly, before doing anything, take a look through each one and make sure that anything that's highlighted in red, which will need your email address, your store address, city, state, and zip code. You will need this before you actually copy and paste it into your Shopify account. So just quickly going back here, you've got a return policy, and this return policy holds true for everyone. You you can obviously modify this, but we strongly encourage you to stay true to this at least. Keep your, wherever there's highlights here, put your phone number, your address accordingly, and any other information. And if you want to pass this by your attorney or use a different template that's still within the 30 days but has other legal language, that's perfectly fine. The point is, this will get you up and running, and you'll have policies in place without having to go to much effort. So these are the, you should have a folder. That folder should be called Voltaire website legal documents. And then you'll have these 4 blank pages. And in essence, what you'll start out doing before going much further is, we'll start with privacy policy. You click on the page, and you'll see there's no text here. But if you remember on our previous video, we always want to duplicate the title, because that improves SEO rankings, right? And we also want to make that title a little bit bolder. I choose heading 3 for the title on the page. And then I enter once. So, I create a space between privacy policy and where I want to put in the copy. And then I will look to, this is the privacy page, so I'm going to open this up. And you don't need to use the logo, certainly. And we already have, well, we're going to highlight all of this just for the source of it. Copy it all. And then paste it onto your page. You may have to do a little bit of formatting after you handle all of that. You'll notice whenever you copy, some things don't transfer over very well. Color is one of them. So if you had multiple texts with color, it will most likely never transfer over exactly. And also formatting. You may choose to bring these paragraphs closer together. You want to make sure that your sections are all in all caps, so that your syntax is consistent throughout the document. And finally, most importantly, make sure that you have your store's info added. That's why I strongly recommend editing, putting your store's info here in the Google file, or save a copy of this in your own Google folder and then modify it. Copy that and then paste it over here, because there are a couple of places where you actually have to paste this policy. We're just starting with the we are just beginning with the, oh, that's interesting, that's new. We are just beginning with today's session with pages. So after you finish that, click Save, and then come back and view the page. So what we're basically looking for on the page is consistency in formatting. And I'm looking already, and I can see problems. I'm just looking through this, and you can see where there might be problems here. Links, Google Analytics with a colon, but nothing else from it. So this would need to be tightened up. I might put these in bullet points. I would need to remove the spacing in between here. This is too wide between these two areas. Tighten this up. Of course, this needs to be one complete address, and I'd probably indent that in. Just going back up to the top here again. Same thing with the address here. I would indent it and make that into the second here. This spacing between section 3 and we may disclose your personal information. This needs to be the same distance as, you can see a section here is followed by a space and then by a paragraph. Well, for some reason this has 3 spaces. So that needs to be tightened up. And if we're going to have privacy statement, then I would probably change this. But my preference is just delete the privacy statement altogether. Privacy policy is enough. And then just bring the section 1 up so it's closer to the top. And consent. How do you get my consent? I would tighten that up by bringing the paragraph up. And same with here. I may end up just tightening it up. And that's something that takes a few minutes of time, but nothing dramatic. And once you're done, you click that, save it, and then you have your privacy policy page completed. Now, after you've completed the page for the privacy as well as all of your other pages, and remember, we're coming back to this, you have to do terms of service, shipping policy, return policy, and privacy policy, which we just pasted, but still needs to be edited. Not edited, but what's the word I'm trying to think of? Aligned, centered. So once you complete all 4 of those, and assuming that you've completed pasting all 4 of those, the first part of this exercise is done. You've added the pages and added the copy for those pages. Now we need to add those very pages to your navigation menu. Because if you look closely, let's go up here to About Us. When you click on About Us, you'll see there's privacy policy here, terms of service. I'm going to click on these and see if they have anything. They're empty right now. So I know for a fact already that, oh, here's the privacy policy we just pasted. So just with this template here that I'm working with, privacy and terms are already nested under About Us. But what I do need to get on here is the shipping policy and the return policy. All 4 of those policies should be included on this. So how do we do that? Now that you finish the pages, click on navigation, and then you're not going to go to main menu. If you look over here, this is the main menu. But About Us has a drop-down menu, and that's a sub-menu. What we need to do is find the sub-menu. So here's the main menu, but the sub-menu is all the way up here called About Us. Starts with A. Obviously, that's where we're going to go. And we saw that privacy policy is here, so we don't have to add it. If we wanted to move it, I typically like to move the legal stuff down to the very bottom. It's the least interesting, and it will obviously have the fewest number of views for it. Terms of service, shipping policy, probably up here, and then a return policy, because those are more important. So let's add both of those right now. I'm going to click Add Menu Item, and I'm going to click Create Shipping Policy. And remember, after we create that heading, we have to create a link for that heading, because everything that you add to a navigation menu has to navigate to somewhere. So what you're basically doing is titling the navigation link, which we just did, and now we're going to attach it to a page. And since this page we already know is shipping policy, it's pretty easy. Click Add, click Save, and shipping policy is now here. I probably want to move this up here. The shipping policy is kind of important. And then finally, we need to create the return policy. So same thing. Link that to pages, to return policy. Click add, click save again, and there you do. You've got your return policy, privacy policy, shipping policy, and terms of service, all neatly nestled together. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to move for franchise owners up here. Actually, I don't even think we need franchise owners on that. Let's remove that. Okay. Terms, privacy, return, shipping. Our history, contact us, about us. That's very clean. Now, the only problem is let's go to your home screen here, and let's see if they came out all right. There they are. The only problem is if I click on return policy, there's nothing there yet. If I click on shipping policy, there's nothing there yet. And that's because you have to go and copy the info that we've shared with you. Here's the shipping policy. And there are places where you need to put in your company's unique ID, the mailing address, the phone number, the email address, etc., etc. And of course, if you're not satisfied with our template, you're welcome to make changes to it or publish your own, so long as you have, so long as your policies have, they've been reviewed by an attorney. I do have to say the two things, shipping policy and return policies, are non-editable. They are contractually part of the business. So if you're going to make changes or want to make any edits to that, please contact Jamie Gilson or Charlie McCleary directly for that. They are our corporate counsel. Okay, so we've added terms of service, privacy policy, return, and shipping policy to our navigation menu, and they're all working. Are we done yet? Nope. We still have to add those very same policies to another area of the website. And here is where we're getting into sort of the real nitty-gritty or administration. We're getting into the settings here. A few years back, Shopify added in the settings their legal department, and then because they had a lot of wannabe eBay sellers creating stores, and they didn't have a clue about what they needed to have as far as definitions for their services to customers that were shopping and purchasing things from them. So they created this area and then offered templates for people to use. This area also appears and is synchronized with online behaviors. So if somebody gets to the checkout stand and wants to look at terms of service, they're not able to retract and go back and see a page that you created. Because they won't be able to do that, there has to be another way. So there's a specific process for checking out for online orders. We'll be discussing in a much later date here. And if people want to review terms of service or return policies, this is what they will see. So by adding the same text that you did for the 4 pages here, you'll be also providing the same documentation to your customers that buy something from you online. And this is it's very straightforward. It's the same thing. If you go to your return policy and as a privacy statement, highlight all of that, and then copy it, and then paste it directly into this menu. You're good as gold. Same thing with formatting. Got to go through it, pick it apart. When you paste into HTML, a lot of the coding that other Word programs, where I was just using Google Sheets, doesn't transfer over directly and maintains all the formatting. So make sure you do your formatting and proofread, and make sure you have your company's information correct in each one of these areas. Again, the legal is located under settings. So reviewing what we've just covered is creating the 4 pages of terms of service for your website, adding the content that we've created specifically for those 4 areas, and then adding those 4 pages to your submenu of About Us, shipping, return, privacy, and policy. And finally, after completing that, starting the whole process over again and doing it once more, but this time going to settings, then to legal, then to adding, copying and pasting from the shared drive folder each one of these policies. Once you've done that, click Save. You're done. And today we've covered our first item of settings, which is the legal. And we also covered how to add items to a submenu. And that's very important. We learned how to add items to your main menu, but we haven't gotten into how to add items to submenus. So if you're watching carefully, guess what? All of these items here that aren't the main menu are logically what? They're logically submenus. Exactly. So anything that is here that has a submenu, that submenu is going to be outside here. It's going to be one of these things. And I'll bet you guess, oh, how can I create a submenu? That's what this is up here. Now it's a little confusing because when you click here, add menu, you automatically think that that will be a main menu, but it's not. Main menu is here. This is really submenu. So I hope that sufficiently confused you for the day. And if it hasn't, then this is a really successful day. If you're still struggling with anything that was covered here or in the prior videos, please do contact me directly at derek.electricspokesco.com. Thank you, and look forward to talking to you in the next video.